There tends to be lately a trend towards downsizing things. Honestly, I love to watch videos about tiny houses, tiny homes. Well, I've always known about tiny apartments. So for me, that's not so weird, but I think it's a great thing that we are moving away, many of us, from big, 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 big everything. Okay. Now, with that comes our stockpiles. Now, there are some people out there who have never had a food stockpile, grocery store stockpile type thing ever. And I always made sure that at the very least that I had at least 2 weeks of extra food. That was just a given. And when I experienced hurricane, which was downsized to Superstorm Sandy, and it really affected this area, the tri-state area, a lot, had no power for a good week. Okay, that was not fun. But I sure was glad that I was one of those people that did have that. Now, have you started a stockpile yet? I'm going to ask this anytime I have a stockpile Friday chat. I'm going to ask, did you start a stockpile yet? You could start one as we speak. Go right into your kitchen cabinet. Find two things that are shelf stable, non perishable, or semi perishable type thing. Something in a can, perhaps, something in a box, perhaps, something that is a little bit of lasting power logically. Put it away, put it in any old place, and you just began. Congratulations, you just began your stockpile. But you're saying, but wait a minute, I took from my active pantry. That's all right. You could replace it the next time you go to the grocery store, or just start the original way. Take $5, put it to the side, and get a couple of things that your family loves, needs, and uses in real life, not to impress anyone else. It's your family. You work with that. All right. Having said that, which is something you're going to probably say, John, you said it last week. I'm going to say it every time I have a stockpile chat because that's the reason. Now, about 1 year ago, dear friend from the At Home with Lynn Wilson Everyday Living channel, she's amazing. She's an amazing person. She's an amazing everything. And about 1 year ago, she did a whole lot of stockpiling videos, I'm telling you. But about 1 year back, I believe it was 1 year back, she did a stockpiling video that I'm going to recommend. And this is for those that say they have no space. The name of the video is Stockpile Simple Solutions. No money, no time, no space, no problem. In fact, her thumbnail is outstanding. And it says 2 week stockpile on the cheap. Okay. This is real life, right? And it is really a great idea to have a stockpile. You've seen all the fluctuations in prices, especially in the last couple of years. Like, what? And weren't you glad that you were ahead of the game, the ones that regularly stockpile things when things might have been at a better price, and gives you time to save so you could keep up with the, current things or whatever. So I think that in a weird way, sometimes challenging times brings out the better person in all of us. It forces us. Ever hear the expression, necessity is the mother of invention? Well, that's true. Because that's when, like, about when I was laid off back in 97, that story, when the whole department at the hospital, when I was working in the hospital, we were laid off, the whole department. And it just throws your life up in a tizzy. It really, really does. That's when I taught myself what I call the rule of half. Why? That's right. I slowed down everything that I was using. I learned to live a normal life, but on less. I think many, many, many people listening are addicted to using way, way, way too much of everything. We don't even realize it, even myself. And that's what I noticed at that time. And I said, Jan, this, rule of half, who says now, when I got back on my feet again after the layoff, returned to another job, who says that I can't use that rule of half in general in life? It really, really helps. And I'll tell you what I like to do. And This might be helpful for some people. And never overlook or underlook the value of your frozen food manufactured by yourself stockpile. Never, ever, ever forget that. That's why your freezer is valuable real estate. Okay. It really, really is. So just don't overlook that component of the stockpile. Okay. So that's when I started to really think about, okay, so I could have this frozen dinner conveniently made. I know what's in it. And usually the things that are in it are usually made in bulk by default. So why shouldn't I take full advantage of it? Example, let's just say I decide to use my crock pot and make a homemade pot of chicken soup or chicken stew. My mom used to love my chicken stew. She says, I like this way better than beef stew. Okay, Mom, I'm glad you like it. I'm glad you like it. So she did. She liked it. So whenever I was able to do it, and there was always a chance I would make it time to make it able, and I would just make a whole bunch of it in my slow cooker. It's batch cooking by default. So when you use your slow cooker wisely, okay, you could get a lot of meals out of that. And if my mom wanted chicken stew and didn't want to have to go to the grocery store and have somebody else's chicken stew other than mine, the way she liked it, um, just take down the meal and just heat and eat. Nothing like having prepared food items. And I'm telling you, as a reminder, during my recent bout of laryngitis, nothing was more comforting than just grabbing some homemade, done when I was feeling great and didn't have a care in the world that day, ton of homemade chicken soup. That's what it was there for. Of course, I made it for, the time being at that time, naturally. But I anticipate, anticipation of things is half the battle won. It's like, think about this for a second, like the holiday season, right? Listen, since I'm born, and probably many years after I'm not going to be around any longer, Christmas will still occur, my guess, on December 25th. Nobody's moving the date around. There is no floating holiday. Christmas is celebrated on December 25th, whether you believe in Christmas, whether you don't believe in Christmas, whether you enjoy Christmas, whether you'd rather do other things on December 25th. You see where I'm going with that. That does not change. Neither does the principle of being prepared change. Now, if I'm prepared with even a 2-week stockpile, it sure beats having zero stockpile. Because I'm going to go back to that Superstorm Sandy time. People were laughing because they were thinking of the previous year when they kept telling us, and then the storm blew over. Then the following year, we had a Superstorm Sandy. We weren't really supposed to be that affected, but it turned for the worse, and we lost power. For about a week and a half on end, my mom and I would go to the market and pick up extra things for the stockpile for that couple of weeks. Probably had about 3 weeks. And isn't it ironic, the same person especially that ha-ha'd, he-he'd, ho-ho'd the most ended up knocking on the door looking for groceries. I was only too glad to help. Okay, so being prepared is just that, a heads up. Anticipation is important. Now, if I was wrong and we didn't have Superstorm Sandy, great. I'm 3 weeks into another stockpile. Hello. But because I was prepared for the unexpected, better still, we were ready. If that's not good enough reason, not to mention battling this crazy fluctuation in price of everything, and with the price of gas at the time of my recording in September of 2023, doesn't it stand to reason to think that this is going to affect prices? Just that alone makes me anticipate that much more. Please check out Lynn's video. It can only help. Have an amazing, fantastic day. Take good care of yourself and your wonderful family. Don't forget to click like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Have a great day.